What's up, everybody? Time for some more rSpace. I broke up with my cheating boyfriend and left him crying and begging. I, 22 female, found out my boyfriend, 24 male, of almost 3 years, cheated on me for the 4th time and lied about it. I only found out about it when I saw him add this girl on Instagram and because of my trust issues with him leading me to message her and ask. She was completely clueless that he even had a girlfriend. Some backstory. I started dating him in 2019 and had a pretty good relationship up until March of 2021. Before that, I thought he was the most loyal person I could ever meet. I never doubted him. He broke up with me because his parents didn't want him to marry a girl from a different caste than him. Or so I thought was the reason for our breakup. Turns out he had been cheating on me all along. He hooked up with a random girl from his college initially in our relationship and defended himself by saying we were just starting to date at the time. Later, he flirted and talked on calls with a girl he met online playing games together. When we first broke up, I was in a bad place mentally, as well as health-wise. He left me when I was bedridden and needed him the most. But we got back together in September of 2021, and that's when he told me all of this. I forgave him and gave him another chance as I still loved him. But he never put efforts in helping me overcome my trust issues and insecurities. He kept adding random girls on Instagram and never shared his password with me. I just needed it to put my mind on ease for a month. Things were fine between us up until now. I decided one chance is enough and asked him to meet. I showed him all the recordings between him and the girl. I cried, he apologized and asked for another chance. The 3 years we were together, I had never seen this man crying, but when I told him I was leaving, he started crying right in front of me. It was painful to watch him that way. He was out of control. He cried so much that he was burning with fever. So this is where I might feel I might be wrong. I left him crying. I broke up and left him in that condition, and now I feel awful. Should I have given him another chance? I still do love him. P.S. We do not have a future together. I will marry someone else in 2 to 4 years. So will he. Since we are Indian, our marriages will be arranged. P.S. My parents were never against our marriage. First reaction from SailJazzLike3111. You did the right thing. He only cried because he got caught and didn't have a backup anymore. Focus on yourself and delete and block him from your life. Deep down, he'll never change even if he gets married. I hope you stay strong and feel better soon too, OP. The OP replies, I do feel better, so much better now. He really did think I'd never leave. Stolen Pens adds in, crying is just a manipulation tactic. He really only feels bad for himself. Next thought comes from Premmed Throwaway. 4th time? Respect yourself next time to break things off permanently after the 1st time. The OP replied, the first time I found out, he manipulated me into thinking he cheated because the situation, and it wasn't technically cheating. I gave him one chance only. That too, at the time, I was very unstable physically and emotionally. I was sick and I needed his love and support. I found out about the other 2 times recently. Next thought from KVetrikit. 4 times? Come on now. Crybaby isn't crying and begging because he cares. He is upset he got caught and is now losing his for sure thing, you. What a pathetic loser. Don't give in unless you want to be cheated on 5 times. Final thought from Know-It-All Turtle. You did the right thing. He got a second chance when he cheated the first time. Once is enough. He needs to have consequences to his actions. Best of luck, OP. Moving on. Girlfriend says she won't cheat because it takes too much physical and emotional effort to hide cheating. We became boyfriend and girlfriend at the start of this month, so obviously we are still getting to know each other. She is spending the week with me till New Year. Today morning, we were talking about boundaries, what we consider cheating, emotional cheating and physical cheating, etc. She asked me if I had ever cheated on anyone, and I said no. I would rather break up than cheat if a relationship is not working. Then I asked her if she had cheated, and she said no. It takes too much effort, both physically and mentally, to first cheat and then hide the cheating. I asked her, how do you know? And she said, well, it's common sense. Just think about it. You have to constantly lie to your loved ones and remember those lies, and then you have to make sure you are not seen by anyone you know. It will surely take a toll, not to mention the risk of STI, STDs, so I would rather not cheat than pay such a heavy price. I couldn't really provide any counterpoints at the moment. Is it a red flag? Anyone else subscribe to this school of not cheating because it's too much effort? First response from Normative Determinism. Example 1,205,607 of people erroneously using red flag. No, she's saying why she wouldn't cheat. She's also right. What was wrong with her answer? You covered the emotional, she covered the logistical. Between you had the whole right answer. JKung23 says, it's a dumb question anyways. What cheater looks their partner in the eyes and says, yeah, I'd cheat on you? Next up, Purple Flavor Cherry has a response. You should never ask someone a question when you're looking for an ultra-specific answer. You're setting yourself up to be let down. There's nothing wrong with what she said. Everything she said is valid and true. Stanky18 has one more comment before we move on. No, she says she wouldn't cheat and that's all that matters. Your school of thought doesn't have to live up. On to the next story. I, 28 male, found inappropriate pictures of my wife, 28 female, she sent to another man. Hello. I'm still trying to process this whole thing. Last night while my wife was asleep, I was going to turn on some music from her phone to help her stay asleep. We have always allowed the other to use and search our phones with nothing to hide. Somehow I clicked on messaging, then minimized it. Something gripped me about the message I saw though. I reopened it and saw a name I did not know. The message was very flirty with some face pics, but nothing else. I know I should have just put the phone down, but I couldn't. I went through one of her apps I knew she used and saw a conversation with a guy and wanted to know how long they'd been talking. At this point, my stomach was in the pit. As I scrolled up, I saw messages calling each other cute names and even a couple saying she loved him by his name. I never got the top. As I scrolled, I found photos of her in nightgowns with a dildo between her breasts and a picture of her bare butt, talking about how good his cock would be. I woke her up to talk, and she told me he lived in another country and that it was just a fantasy. She acknowledged she went too far, but she has since not done so. She will not let me see her phone, but I know I saw messages of flirting with at least 3 guys before I woke her. She wants us to move on and work on our relationship, but I feel a feeling I can't describe and was looking for some help. Edit. Forgot to add we have 3 kids together and have been married for 7 years. Edit 2. I'm at work and really appreciate everyone taking the time to message. I'll message back when I can. First response from Fascination Street. She wants us to move on and work on our relationship. What exactly does this mean to her? Not to you, to her. Because it is really easy to say, oh, let's work on the marriage, and then blow it off. She apparently was not able to do this work before having emotional affairs. What has suddenly changed now? She got caught. She needs to be the one that details for you what she is willing to do, without you prompting her. When she is unable to articulate what work on the marriage means, you'll know she just is saying it to get you to leave her to do what she wants. You need to sit down with yourself and figure out what does work on the marriage mean to you. What will it take for her to rebuild your trust? What requests and requirements you have, etc. Next thought from GM Tone 6. Nah dog, that's way too far. She may not be physically doing anything, but that's emotionally cheating. When you next talk about it, ask her if she is comfortable with you doing that with other women. I guarantee it'll change her perspective. I suggest marriage counseling at the very least, but to be honest, brother, I think it's over. My heart goes out to you, man. One more thought from the Reddit Girl 15. Funny, y'all had an open phone search policy all this time, but it's only after you discover something she doesn't want you to see that she says you can't look at it anymore? And now she's acting like y'all can move on from her obvious infidelity just like that? It's not just a fantasy because she intentionally told you nothing about it? Man, she must really think you're dumb. The only way this marriage can be salvaged now is marriage counseling. Moving on, I, 24, went full red flag and searched through my girlfriend's, 23, phone. She has a private Twitter for her closest friends. On there, I saw how she jokes about screwing my roommate, and she posting about another guy DMing her on Instagram and how it made her heart flutter. I immediately broke up with her without telling her the reason, but I still love her and I can't take my mind off of her. Maybe it's not that bad? Maybe that's just how girls joke around on their private Twitter. Now she's saying on her private Twitter how she doesn't know why I broke up. Do you think I was too dramatic and should have talked to her instead? First reaction from His Little Mischief. Woman, 27 here. Red flag. No one who is faithful or a decent human being does that crap. You did the right thing in leaving her. Block her Twitters, her number, all social medias. It will help you heal. Also, maybe have a word with your roommate. Depending on their response, I'd start looking for a new roommate or apartment. Next thought from Tasty Project 1. Bro, trust your gut. I know it's cliche, but hit the gym and hang out with the boys. Don't give cheaters an inch. It's going to suck for a while, but it'll get better. I would like to add that I'm sorry someone put you through this. It sucks. One more thought from Night's Sky. Most girls don't joke about that while in a relationship, especially about people they know. On to the next story. I, 28 male, ended my relationship of 3 years with my girlfriend, 27 female today, after a long and lengthy battle of sticking around. This is more of a rant advice for anyone who thinks they are stuck in a one-way relationship to just get out of it, because ultimately, it's just time wasted after a certain point. I've had a previous post about my girlfriend having no hobbies with me, but honestly, it's so much deeper than that. 1, it's her relying on me to get her to her job and back. If I don't take her, then she feels like she can't get to her job. I get it, but I don't. I'd never take a job I can't publicly commute to, and she is unable to pass her driving test. I lose my mornings getting her to work and put my job on the line when I have to pick her up at 3 p.m. Yes, I have a side hustle, but at the same time, having that salary and permanent job is not worth risking anymore. 2, she doesn't clean up, initiate cleaning, can't, won't cook, and doesn't at least do the dishes after I cook a meal. Trust me, I've tried schedules, chore lists, sitting down with her and telling her, if we cannot keep this house clean together, we are not compatible to live with each other. That didn't work, twice. 3, she claims if we buy a house together, she will be more inclined to clean up, but her mother lets slip she's never cleaned up after herself, which to me is the largest red flag of all. 4, it's her not walking, feeding, and training the dog unless I tell her directly she needs to do it. Tested 3 times if she'd feed the dog when I didn't, and she never did. So I'd have to feed her and get the "I forgot" excuse despite me doing it at the same time every day. She tells me she loves me every day, but I came across a quote that really got me thinking about 3 weeks ago. Love is not enough to keep the relationship going. It takes a lot of effort and patience to make the commitment stronger. It doesn't matter if you say you love someone if you're not willing to put your all into a relationship. Make someone else's life easier. Pick up the slack on your side and not rely on the other half to make sure you've got a meal, clean clothes, a clean environment. Then love isn't and never will be enough to keep someone around. I kept thinking, it'll just click for her this time, even up till a few days ago. I cleaned the entire place, everything, while she did some work. It took me the entire day, and she said thank you. I asked her to cook. She said she's too tired. So I cooked us a meal, a starter, and a main. Asked her to do the dishes and went into my office and did some work, then went straight to bed. I woke up to the dishes still being there. I woke up to her dirty clothes scattered across the bedroom floor I'd cleaned only yesterday. I asked her straight away, "Can you feed the dog?" "No, too busy getting ready for work. What time are you going to be ready to take me?" On the way to dropping her off, I simply said, "I cleaned the whole entire place yesterday while you said you worked. I cooked when you were too tired, even though you never cook anyway. I asked you to do one thing, the dishes, and you didn't even do that. So we are done. I've put up with it for far too long, and you'll never change. We aren't compatible, and I'll be moving out with the dog at the end of the week." She gave me the spell of, "I'll change, I promise. I'm a good person, why are you doing this?" Honestly, I couldn't have cared any less. I just ignored her, dropped her off, and now I'm in the midst of packing my things. If you're reading this and stuck in a one-sided relationship, and you think it's fine because he loves you, it's not fine. He doesn't love you. He loves what you do for her or him. Nothing more, or they'd have changed a long time ago.